You pride yourself on being a good person. You believe that your empathy, your generosity, and your willingness to help others are your greatest virtues. You think that by putting good out into the world, you are building karma, earning respect, and forging deep, meaningful connections. But your ego is blinding you to a brutal mathematical reality of human nature. Your kindness is not a psychological shield. It is a giant, glowing target painted directly on your back. To the dark psychology practitioner, the narcissist, the corporate shark, the Machiavellian manipulator, your empathy is not a moral triumph. It is a psychological vulnerability. It is a highly predictable algorithm that they can effortlessly hack to extract your time, resources, and energy. You are not being respected for your goodness. You are being farmed for it. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote in his masterwork, The Prince, "A man who wishes to make a profession of goodness in everything must necessarily come to grief among so many who are not good." This is the foundational law of power dynamics that you are currently ignoring. We are raised in a society that preaches unconditional kindness. We are taught to be selfless, accommodating, and perpetually forgiving. But in the ruthless reality of social dynamics, unconditional kindness without the capacity for aggression is simply weakness. When a predator walks into a room, they do not look for the strongest person to challenge. They look for the kindest person to exploit. They are scanning the environment for high levels of agreeableness. They are looking for the person who smiles too easily, who apologizes when it isn't their fault, who over-explains themselves, and who visibly flinches at the thought of conflict. Once they identify you, they begin the systematic dismantling of your boundaries. How exactly do they weaponize your own morality against you? The most common and devastating tactic is the pity play. Master manipulators know that highly empathetic people have an overwhelming biological compulsion to heal the pain of others. So, the predator manufactures pain. They will come to you with a perfectly crafted sob story, a tragedy. An unfair boss, a crazy ex-partner, a string of terrible, unexplainable luck. They present themselves as the eternal, helpless victim of a cruel world. By doing this, they bypass your logical, critical brain entirely and strike directly at your emotional core. The moment you feel sorry for them, your critical thinking shuts down. You stop evaluating their character, you ignore the glaring red flags in their story, and you start desperately trying to fix their situation. You offer your help, your money, your professional connections, and the absolute second you do, the parasite has successfully attached itself to the host. Next, they utilize weaponized guilt. When you inevitably realize you are being drained and you finally attempt to set a boundary, the manipulator will not respect it. They will instantly invert the psychological dynamic. They will aggressively accuse you of being selfish, cold, or abandoning them in their darkest hour of need. They take your greatest internal fear, the fear of being perceived as a bad person, and they hold it hostage. To relieve the agonizing cognitive dissonance of feeling guilty, you cave in. You end up apologizing to them for trying to protect yourself. Then comes the reciprocity trap. The rule of reciprocity is a deeply ingrained social norm. If someone does something for us, we feel an intense psychological obligation to return the favor. The dark psychology practitioner exploits this by doing a microscopic, entirely insignificant favor for you first. They buy you a cheap cup of coffee, they offer a minor compliment, or they hold a door. They intentionally plant a tiny seed of social debt. Weeks later, they return to harvest a massive, disproportionate favor, asking you to work their entire weekend shift, lending them a large sum of money, or aggressively vouching for their terrible behavior. Because you are a good person, the unpayable, entirely fabricated debt gnaws at your conscience until you comply. This brings us to the ethical boundary of the Niccolò philosophy. We do not study this darkness so you can become a cold, heartless sociopath. A world entirely without empathy is a barren, miserable wasteland. But empathy without boundaries is nothing short of self-destruction. You must transition your mindset from unconditional kindness to strategic empathy. You must realize that your kindness, your time, and your attention are highly valuable currencies. You are currently handing them out for free to psychological beggars and thieves. You need to become the strict, unforgiving central bank of your own energy. How do you practically achieve this? First, you must completely decouple the word no from the concept of meanness. Saying no is not an insult. It is a psychological perimeter fence. When a manipulator comes to you with a sudden manufactured crisis that requires your immediate sacrifice, you deploy the Machiavellian pause. Do not react emotionally. Look at them, wait 3 full seconds in absolute silence, and say in a flat, monotone voice, "I understand you are in a difficult position, but I am unable to help you with this." Notice the specific architectural structure of that sentence. You acknowledge their situation, but you offer absolutely zero justification for your refusal. You do not give them an excuse. You do not say, "I'm so sorry, I'm just really busy right now, maybe next time." Excuses are just negotiation tactics to a manipulator. They will instantly find a loophole in your excuse to force your compliance. A flat, unemotional, "I am unable to do this," offers them no surface area to attack. It is a brick wall. Secondly, you must start actively testing the people currently in your life by intentionally setting small, seemingly harmless boundaries. Say no to a minor request, disagree with a trivial opinion they hold, cancel a minor plan, and then remain totally silent and watch their eyes. Watch their immediate reaction. A psychologically healthy person will respect the boundary without a second thought. A predator will instantly reveal their true nature. They will pout. They will passively aggressively insult you. They will attempt to induce guilt, or they will flash that asymmetrical smirk of contempt. The moment someone punishes you, in any way, for setting a boundary, you have successfully identified a threat. You must instantly and permanently downgrade their access to your life. True power is not about being cruel. It is about having the absolute, undeniable capacity for cruelty and consciously choosing to keep it sheathed until it is absolutely necessary. You can be the kindest, most generous person in the room, but you must also be the most dangerous. You must possess teeth, and you must let the world subtly know that you are entirely willing to use them if you are crossed. Your kindness must be a rare, earned gift, never a biological requirement. I want you to critically evaluate your inner circle right now. Who is currently draining your energy through the perpetual pity play? Who makes you feel guilty for simply protecting your own peace and your own time? Share your experiences and your insights in the comments below. Let us expose these parasites together. If you are ready to stop being collateral damage in other people's psychological games, this is the face of someone who has mastered their emotions, cold, calm, and in control. If you want to forge a mind of iron, and if you wish to master the brutal realities of human nature, then subscribe to Niccolò. Join the elite few who see the world exactly as it is, not as they naively wish it to be. Until next time, guard your empathy fiercely, enforce your boundaries ruthlessly, remain flawlessly strategic, and always remember, a good person who cannot fight is just a victim waiting to happen.